Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Happy Tuesday, mainly dry today. Our next weather maker brings in the chance for some rain, and that ends as a brief wintry mix in parts of the area. We'll show you when and where coming up.
Wake County road conditions. This is a look from the WRAL storm tracker near Ridge Road in Raleigh. The trouble spots sticking around after our weekend snowstorm.
And sentencing begins. Austin Thompson will be in court today after pleading guilty to killing 5 people in 2022. What we can expect today as the court decides how long he will be in prison. We're following to see what the judge decides in that case this morning. As you're joining us here on WRAL News, thank you for being here with us. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Renee Chu. We are here to get you ready for what's to come Tuesday and tomorrow, because we could see a wintry mix. Let's get to meteorologist Chris Michaels. This will be nothing like what we saw over the weekend, though.
Yeah, definitely have to draw that distinction. Yes, we issued a weather alert day out of an abundance of caution, especially for the northern half of the area Wednesday evening. That's where you see a little bit of a mix of sleet and snow. Any accumulation north of I-40 looks like it would be less than an inch. Now, the Weather Service, they put out this tool that I think is really useful, and it kind of differentiates wintry impacts. This past weekend, we were in that red for major. For tomorrow evening, it's kind of limited, so you got to be careful driving, especially as we get just beyond the evening commute. We're cutting it close to that from areas like Raleigh northward, where you see that chance for a little bit of sleet and some snow. So it's not one of those storms that leaves you raiding and getting rid of all the bread and milk in the aisle, but it could be a little bit inconvenient for a few hours. North Hills, things are starting to get back to normal after the snow this past weekend. Temperatures right now anywhere from about 5 to 15 degrees higher than they were yesterday morning, though still starting in the 20s. High temperatures today, meanwhile, making it back into the 40s. Ken?
Hey, Chris, we're still staying on top of those road conditions. Listen, our major roads are in really good shape. As we take a live look at US 164 coming in out of Cary this morning into the Raleigh-Wake County area. And similarly, right here in Wake County, you're seeing I-40 Wade Avenue. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. The only places we're seeing those icy conditions are shoulder and median of the road, and on some of those neighborhood streets where it looks really icy in some cases. And that's why we have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads this morning. Monica Casey, photographer Mark Alexic, you're in a neighborhood just off Ridge Road in Wake County.
Hey, Ken, that's right. Let me flip the camera around so you all can see what we are seeing on Burnham Wood Road. This runs between Ridge Road and Dixie Drive back behind us. We're going up toward Ridge Road right now. And as you can see, it is snowy and icy here. And a lot of this neighborhood in this area looks like this. It's not just this street that we're seeing. We were in a neighborhood in Durham earlier this morning, and it looked a lot like this, too. We're actually on a hill right now, which makes it even more difficult. I can hear our tires just kind of grinding on that ice. You can probably hear it from your TV right now. Luckily, the primary roads do look good. They don't look like this, but it's a matter of getting out of your neighborhood this morning. And if it looks like this, you need to give yourself lots of extra time for sure. Ken, I'll send it back to you.
Some excellent advice. So once you get to those main roads, we're not seeing any delays whatsoever. I-87 and those southbound lanes, you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning, just a 1-minute delay on US 1 Capitol Boulevard, if you will. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Well, road teams in Cary are asking for patience as they deal with the last few trouble spots from the winter storm. The town's public works director says there are a few more icy spots out there, and these are reportedly mostly at the end of streets and cul-de-sacs. Many of the remaining problem areas are too small to plow, so instead, road teams are spreading salt.
We tell them to be patient because we're also fighting water mains and water lines, service lines to people's homes. This storm has brought a lot of cold weather for an extended period of time, and so our teams are also doing that as well. We've had 30 or 40 of those.
And the town of Cary was able to treat all primary and secondary roads before this storm.
People in Johnson County are being asked to cut back on their water usage today after our recent winter weather. The county has declared a temporary water shortage after the extreme cold caused disruptions at the Broome Water Treatment Plant. Sky 5 flew over the plant yesterday. You can see snow and ice covering the water. Johnston County says people are being asked to avoid using water for non-essential services. The shortage is only expected to last a day or two, but people we spoke with say this could not have happened at a worse time.
When individuals want to cook or they want to shower, even use the toilet, it can become very hard to do that because you won't have water and you won't have a running system. So that can make a lot of individuals panic.
I'm not too concerned about it just because we've got a couple cases of bottled water already at home. So the drinking water side, I'm not as concerned about. You know, if I had to go multiple days without a shower, I think that's where we start to get concerned.
The North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality says there are several ways to conserve water. That includes taking shorter showers, not leaving the water running when you are rinsing off dishes, and keeping a pitcher of cold water in your refrigerator. New this morning, Halifax County is looking into a possible issue with their water treatment. Halifax County posted on Facebook saying Public Utilities has been working since noon to find a water issue in the Hollister-Medoc area. Everything is covered in snow and ice, making it difficult to find valves. We've reached out to the county public utilities and the town of Hollister to learn more.
Local school districts are either closed or having remote learning today. Wake and Cumberland County schools will have remote learning today, and Chapel Hill Carborough schools, they will be remote as well. Orange County and Durham Public Schools will be closed. And for a full list of closings and delays, you can head on over to WRAL.com. Now, this is the second week in a row area schools have dealt with closings and delays and remote learning. Let's bring in Ali Kababar. She's live outside Carnage Magnet Middle School in Raleigh this morning. Ali, schools across Wake County are still waiting for conditions to improve before bringing back kids and teachers.
And we're expecting staff to show up here in the next few hours to assess the campus here. We can see there's treatment at the entrance there, and it looks pretty clear for the most part, but there's also a layer of caution tape blocking off the patio where there looks like there's some icy, snowy spots there. So some ice and snow is sticking around on campuses, and so that's why maintenance teams have been showing up to campuses to clear them as much as possible. A Wake County Schools spokesperson tells us their main concern, the conditions of the neighborhoods. School buses and parents must be able to drive through side roads, and students need to be able to walk on sidewalks safely. The Davis Drive Middle School principal tells us there's many factors at play, but safety is the top priority.
A lot goes into it, and keeping kids safe is first and foremost at the top of everybody's decision. So, but we'll get back to school and we'll figure all that other stuff out as soon as we can. Safety always being the top thing.
And this morning, we're asking Wake County Public Schools these questions. What's the plan for clearing all that snow and ice? How many contractors has the district hired to remove it? And how much is the district spending on its removal? Of course, when we hear back, we'll let you know. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
And make sure you have the WRAL weather app downloaded on your phone. That way you can stay up to date on weather forecasts and conditions. But remember, turn on push notifications to get alerts.
Happening today, the sentencing for Austin Thompson gets started. The teen will be sentenced after admitting to murdering 5 people in Raleigh in 2022. Thompson pleaded guilty to killing his brother, 3 neighbors, and a Raleigh police officer. The sentencing hearing will be conducted like a normal trial, but without a jury. A judge will determine the length of time Thompson will serve in prison. Before the sentencing, the judge heard the evidence the prosecution will present at the hearing, including a note allegedly written by Thompson.
During that note, he acknowledges his behavior and his intention to some degree and confesses that he in fact intentionally killed his brother and the reason why. Drugs, narcotics.
Thompson could face a minimum of life in prison without parole. Get caught up with the case and the key players on the WRAL YouTube channel. You can watch this week's sentencing hearing on WRAL.com. Be sure to like and subscribe to WRAL on YouTube.
Investigators in Arizona say they believe the mother of Today's Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie was taken from her home against her will. That's why this is being investigated as a crime. Nancy Guthrie was last seen Saturday night in her home outside Tucson. She was reported missing around noon on Sunday. The Pima County Sheriff says her disappearance is being investigated as foul play. The sheriff also said Nancy Guthrie suffers from physical challenges and needs medication every 24 hours, and that if she doesn't get that medication, it could be fatal.
Happening today, the Wake County School Board plans to revisit its student laptop program. The school district plans to survey elementary school staff on whether older students need to take their laptops home. The district says it's also thinking about not issuing laptops to every kindergartner, first grader, and second grader. WRAL education insider Emily Walkenhorst says these changes are aimed at reducing both screen time and costs.
The school district is also thinking about the cost of all of this. Now, if they issued fewer laptops to kindergarten, first and second grade students, it wouldn't necessarily make up for a huge, budget hole or something like that. But they're facing a lot of increased costs. They're facing a lot of deferred maintenance for HVAC systems. And they're wondering, okay, what are we spending all of our money on the right things? And they're really zeroing in on laptops for the youngest students.
And they will try to save money where they can. The school board is set to hear suggestions during a work session today, but it is only a discussion. You can follow our coverage today at the education section of WRAL.com.
Your time is 6:10 this morning. Voting deadlines. Time is running out to ensure you're registered for the upcoming primaries. So we're going to give you a rundown of the key dates you should know.
More homes collapse. The Outer Banks was hit hard by winter weather. The problems the region is dealing with after the storm moved out.
Temperatures this morning mainly in the 20s, so a cold start out there, and clouds increasing ahead of the next weather maker. I'll show you when that brings some rain and which parts of the area stand the chance of a light wintry mix tomorrow evening. That's all coming your way in less than 10 minutes.
We also have your winning Powerball numbers right here on your screen. 3, 8, 31, 60, 65, Powerball's 4, multipliers 2.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14, happy Tuesday. So far this winter, the triangle has dropped into the teens 8 times. It's the most since 2018 when we did it 14 times between December 1st and Groundhog Day. Siler City down in the teens, Triangle in the mid-20s, so is Henderson. Wilson's down to 23, Goldsboro at 22, Smithfield and Selma at 19, and so is Robbins. Irwin's at 24, Fayetteville down to 22 degrees. So not as cold as yesterday, but it's still cold out there. More clouds as we head into the afternoon with temperatures making it into the mid-40s. Those clouds increasing ahead of the next weather maker that overnight tonight into tomorrow morning brings in some light rain, and it ends as a light wintry mix in parts of the area tomorrow evening. We'll show you when, where, and if there's any accumulation coming up. Ken?
Excellent. And to that in mind, we're keeping track of those road conditions. All our major routes are really in good shape. It's those neighborhood streets that where we're seeing these icy conditions as we've been illustrating with the WRAL Storm Tracker this morning. We'll check in with Monica Casey at the bottom of the hour. But right now, if you're on any of our major routes, I-87 southbound, I-40 westbound coming in from Gardner, Johnston County, delay-free at this hour.
And happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, Elon Musk and his social media platform X is under hot water and in hot water once again. This news just breaking this morning. The Paris prosecutor's office said a search was underway today at the French offices of Elon Musk's social media platform X as part of a preliminary investigation into a range of alleged offenses, including spreading child pornography and deepfakes. Now, this investigation was initially opened in January of last year by prosecutors' cybercrime unit. It's looking into alleged complicity in detaining and spreading pornographic images of minors. Of course, they're also asking for voluntary interviews at this time. We're going to stay on top of this story.
Laura, thank you. Former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify in the Epstein investigation. The Clintons will sit down for a closed-door deposition before the House Oversight Committee. This is after the House was expected to vote on 2 contempt resolutions against the Clintons for defying a congressional subpoena. Bill Clinton admits he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein over the years, but he denies he was ever engaged in sexual misconduct through Epstein. It's not clear when the Clintons will testify.
Just a heads up, voters, the voter registration deadline for next month's primary elections is this Friday, February 6th. Voters will decide which candidates represent the Democratic and Republican parties in November races. Candidates are vying for seats in the U.S. Senate, U.S. House of Representatives, the state legislature, and more. Early voting runs from February 12th through the 28th, and mail-in voting is already happening. Meanwhile, Election Day, that's set for March 3rd.
The weekend storm battered the coast with snow, high winds, and rough surf. Parts of NC 12 remain closed because of overwash. NCDOT says the stretch running from Oregon Inlet to Rodanthe is shut down, and the north end of Ocracoke Island is also closed. The storm also brought down 4 more homes along the Outer Banks. The homes that collapsed in Buxton were once hundreds of feet away from the water. New pictures show the debris all over the beach and, yes, into the ocean. The beaches in this area were closed before the storm because officials were concerned that this would happen. 31 homes have now collapsed into the ocean on Hatteras Island over the years.
Oh, goodness. I feel like every time we share these images online, a lot of people just, sad reacts just because, it's a beautiful part of the coastline there. But even though the winter weather is what caused that, it's very quiet right now.
It is quiet now, and anything that we see heading into tomorrow is not going to be nearly as strong as what we saw over the weekend. That system is in the process of getting going. It hardly looks like anything right now. It produces some light rain for us heading into tomorrow morning. So let's start you out with Futurecast. This is this afternoon. Nothing to be worried about, just some increasing clouds ahead of this thing. And even as we get toward 7 p.m., any rain is going to be off toward the Smokies. Any snow is going to be off toward West Virginia. Overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, some pockets of light rain, most of which will be near and south of the Triangle for the morning commute tomorrow. And with low pressure riding along this front, you still get some periods of just chilly rain heading into most of tomorrow afternoon. Cutting it close with the evening commute near and north of Raleigh tomorrow evening. That pink is more than likely some sleet and or some snow mixing in with rain. So this is not one of those systems that is going to have a huge impact on us, but it could be fairly inconvenient as we head into the evening. Now, in terms of any accumulation, most of that would be north of I-40. It'd be less than an inch. Your chance of an inch or more is probably going to be up toward Virginia, but out of an abundance of caution tomorrow being a WRAL weather alert day. Beyond that, a system from Canada is pretty much going to swing and miss on us in terms of precipitation, maybe a few flakes heading into Friday night. Most snow will be well north of here. We'll just be cold and breezy heading into the weekend. Of course, a lot of us considering it a holiday weekend with Super Bowl 60 on the way. Breezy and cold for both Saturday and Sunday with highs in the low 40s. Lake Gaston still covered in a little bit of snow. Temperatures for you mainly in the low to mid 20s this morning. Roanoke Rapids right at about freezing. And hour by hour, temperatures climb into the low 40s by midday with highs in the mid 40s this afternoon. Heading into tomorrow, low 40s with some periods of rain, ending as a little bit of a mix, especially in the northern half of the area. Could see some patches of sleet and even freezing rain toward the Sandhills overnight into Thursday morning. But beyond that, things finally quiet down. It's just still going to be cold into the weekend. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. And those major roads, boy, in really good shape, as you can see from I-40 and Jones Sausage Road. These are the lanes coming into the Raleigh-Wake County area this morning. And it's a situation where that's what we're seeing in all of our major routes, which is really good news. If I-40 westbound is part of your morning commute this morning, delay-free, that southern loop of the Beltline. You're coming in from Garner-Johnston County, delay-free as well. It's those icy conditions we're seeing on neighborhood roads. That's why we dispatch the WRAL Storm Tracker. We'll check in with them at the bottom of the hour. But really and truly, we're not seeing any delays on any of our major routes right now here in the Raleigh-Wake County area.
Ken, thank you. Cutting costs. 5 on Your Side has ways you can bring your bills down this year.
Plus, returning to normal. Winter weather has affected local services people need. We'll talk about the timeline to get things up and running again.
Local services across our area are beginning to return to normal after last weekend's winter weather. In Orange County, public transportation will resume fixed route bus services at 10 this morning. Services did not run yesterday. Recycling will also resume today. All county government buildings are expected to open at 10 this morning. In Wilson County, the weather is affecting public transit. The Arrive transportation system will not take people out of county today. And for trips within Wilson County, people should expect delays. Parts of Wilson County saw more than 6 inches of snow.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
A shakeup in the talk show world.
Yeah, Ken Smith is here to talk all about it. What's trending?
Yeah, let's see what's going on there. The Kelly Clarkson Show ending after 7 seasons. Clarkson made the announcement in a post on social media. She says she is stepping away to prioritize spending time with her children. The final episodes will be airing in the fall.
And that's not the only talk show that's announced it is ending. Sherry Shepherd's morning show will also end its run. So we remember when Sherry Shepherd visited here.
Not long ago. It was a lot of fun.
She was super fun. What a personality.
Well, our Renee Chu is trending this morning. That's because join us in wishing her a very happy birthday today.
Where'd you get this? Where'd you get this? I'm not getting older.
Behind the scenes.
I'm just more seasoned.
Well, there you go.
Is that what it is?
I've known her for more than 20 years, and she still looks like she's 20. Yes.
I'm a lot older than that. A lot older.
We appreciate you.
I'm trying to embrace
We
it.
love having you here, and it's always a joy to be able to work with you. Happy
you
birthday.
guys are so sweet. Thank you. You totally surprised me. And, it's nothing like getting your birthday started this early, at 6:30 in the morning. You guys are so sweet. Thank you.
Well, your time is 6:25, and as Super Bowl 60 approaches, players and coaches took part in opening night last night in California. They took questions from reporters from across the globe. Quarterbacks Drake May and Sam Darnold talked about the opportunity to play on football's biggest stage.
I think it's goal to get to this game this year. I don't think the age of me matters really at this point. I think it's special, and knowing that at such a young age to be able to experience the big game and what everybody works for in this NFL league, to experience that at such a young age is a blessing.
I grew up dreaming of this moment, so I grew up watching a ton of great football players and a ton of great football teams get to this moment and make great plays. And I feel like whenever that happened after a Super Bowl, I was always emulating that in my backyard, my front yard with my friends. So yeah, I always dreamed of moments like this.
The Seahawks and Patriots will face off this Sunday, and kickoff at Levi Stadium is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. Yes, you can watch all the action for the big game here on WRAL.
6:26 now. Sentencing begins. Austin Thompson will be in court today after pleading guilty to killing 5 people in 2022. What we can expect today as the court decides how long he will be in prison.
And Raleigh road conditions. Let's go and get you a live look outside right now, courtesy of the WRAL Storm Tracker. And right now, I believe they're in Wake County, where you can clearly see one of these side roads still have some trouble spots there. We'll track some other ones after the weekend snowstorm that we had.
And while we're not tracking a snowstorm, there is another system that brings in a rain-snow mix heading into Wednesday. We'll show you when we see things starting to change over and which parts of the area we see that in, coming up in the next half hour of news.